I think that that was at one point an open question. And I think that the way that you address that open question is by doing exactly what Scott Alexander did. Deep dive into the evidence, expressing the uncertainties, showing why he ended up where he did. And he was chided because this is giving credibility to, you're giving credibility to the conspiracy theorists. And I think that this is like a fundamentally anti-scientific attitude. You cannot do this because you are depleting our precious ability to just say that people have to accept what we say on faith because we're scientists. And like, that's not science. I don't care. Like, I understand that the way you got the answer may have been scientific, but demanding that the rest of society just sort of kneel before Zod every time you wave your scientific credentials doesn't work. I fundamentally think does not work. I think it depletes trust in science rather than enhancing it. And look, I get it. I got so tired of arguing with bad conspiracy theorists during COVID. I'm still tired of arguing with them. Periodically, I'll just be like, look, you're making me really mad and I'm going to note out of this conversation. I'm just done with it for now. I don't have the energy, right? At the same time, I think you have to argue with them. And yes, you're not going to convince some of them because some of them just want to be mad. What they really want is not even a theory of COVID. They just want to be mad at liberals. And this gives them something like, and so, yes, you're never going to convince those people. Fine. You still got to make the argument. And I think that this idea that there is, in this house, we believe in science. Science is, what do you mean you believe in science? This is like, I believe in trees. I've seen them, right? Like they exist. Yes. But like, that doesn't imply anything about policy other than, we need to recognize that trees exist. And that whole thing, the way that science has become like an identity is the exact opposite of science. And I noticed this even 10, 15 years ago when I used to occasionally, because I'm an unpleasant person, enjoy kind of getting a little rise out of people who made fun of creationists by asking them to explain various evolutionary phenomena. And it turned out, of course, they had no idea. They didn't know anything about how evolution worked. All they knew was that they believed it because someone had told them it was true, right? And which is fine. We all have to do this. I basically accept most of what I do every day on faith. I accept that, I have no idea how my plane works. I get on the plane, I assume it's going to fly. I assume that aerodynamics is a thing. I assume those guys know what they're talking about. Because you cannot, in our society is too complicated, but then you need to be epistemically humble and understand that you can't get bonus points for having accepted the correct theory on faith, right? That's not a virtue.